Imagine a ruler so daring that he tries to erase the gods of his people, destroys temples, and declares himself a living god. What happens when an entire civilization turns against their pharaoh? This is the story of Akhenaten, the most hated ruler in ancient Egypt's history. But was he truly a villain, or was he a visionary far ahead of his time? Before we explore the rise and fall of Akhenaten and his radical reign, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Join the Spellbound Stories community for more incredible tales from the ancient world. Part 1. The Rise of a Revolutionary Pharaoh. Akhenaten was born as Amenhotep IV, the son of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and Queen Tae in the 14th century BC. His father ruled during a golden age of Egypt, where religion, trade, and diplomacy flourished. When his elder brother Thutmose died, young Amenhotep unexpectedly became heir to the throne. He was thrust into a world of power, intrigue, and, as we would later see, dangerous ideas. Amenhotep IV ascended to power in Thebes in 1353 BC, taking over the reins as the 10th ruler of the 18th dynasty. Soon after, he married the famous and influential Queen Nefertiti. Together, they would attempt to reshape the world as Egypt knew it. But while his father had upheld the traditional polytheistic religion of Egypt, worshipping gods like Amun and Ra, Amenhotep IV had other plans. Early in his reign, he began to focus on a lesser-known deity, Aten, represented by the sun disk. Part 2. The Birth of Atenism, a revolution in religion. In the 5th year of his reign, Amenhotep IV made a shocking decision. He abandoned his birth name and became Akhenaten, which translates to living spirit of Aten. This was more than just a personal transformation. It marked the beginning of a religious revolution. Akhenaten declared Aten as the one true god, elevating him above the entire Egyptian pantheon. Why did Akhenaten make this drastic move? Was it purely religious conviction, or was it a strategic power play against the influential priesthood of Amun? The priesthood had grown so powerful and wealthy that it rivaled the authority of the pharaoh himself. By elevating Aten, Akhenaten effectively stripped the priests of their power, shaking the religious and political structures of Egypt to their core. To solidify Aten's supremacy, Akhenaten ordered the destruction of Amun's temples and had images of Egypt's gods erased from public monuments. The pharaoh's orders sent shockwaves across the kingdom, as he declared that only Aten, the solar disk, was to be worshipped. But Akhenaten didn't stop there. He declared himself the sole intermediary between Aten and the people, cutting out the entire priestly class. Some scholars believe that Akhenaten's religious reform was motivated by a genuine spiritual revelation. Others suggest it was a calculated move to centralize power. What do you think? Was Akhenaten a man of faith or a ruler with an insatiable thirst for control? Part 3. Akhenaten, the City of the Sun. Not content with changing Egypt's religion, Akhenaten also set out to create a new capital city, far from the influence of the old gods. He called it Akhenaten, which means Horizon of the Aten. Today, it's known by its Arabic name, Amarna. Akhenaten was unlike any city Egypt had ever seen. It was built quickly, with a unique layout that reflected Akhenaten's devotion to Aten. The city's temples had no roofs, allowing the rays of the sun, Aten's embodiment, to shine directly on worshippers. Every structure was designed to face eastward, so that at dawn, the first rays of sunlight would flood through the streets and temples, symbolizing the blessings of Aten on the city. Life in Akhenaten was starkly different from other parts of Egypt. Akhenaten and Nefertiti, who had become as much a religious figure as a political one, traveled the city in chariots, mirroring the journey of the sun across the sky. This city wasn't just a place to live. It was a manifestation of Akhenaten's new religious vision. But not everyone was happy with the changes. Many Egyptians saw Akhenaten as a tyrant who had abandoned their traditional beliefs. Behind the grandeur of Akhenaten, discontent was brewing. Part 4. The Cracks in Akhenaten's Kingdom. While Akhenaten was building temples and spreading the worship of Aten, Egypt's borders were beginning to crack. Akhenaten's obsession with religious reform led him to neglect diplomatic affairs, leaving Egypt's once strong allies vulnerable. The famous Amarna letters, clay tablets found in Akhenaten, tell a story of neglect. Foreign kings begged for Egyptian military support, but their pleas went unanswered. In one of the letters, Rib-Hadda, the king of Byblos, writes in desperation, "Like a bird in a trap, so I am here in Byblos." Akhenaten's response was cold and indifferent. His focus was inward, on Aten and Akhenaten, and the empire began to weaken. Enemies of Egypt saw an opportunity, and rebellions broke out across the region. Akhenaten's failure to address these crises tarnished his reputation among the Egyptian elite. While he focused on the heavens, the ground beneath him began to fall apart. Part 5. The Fall of Akhenaten. After 17 years of radical rule, Akhenaten passed away under mysterious circumstances. His death marked the end of the Amarna period, and with it, the collapse of his religious experiment. His successors, including his son Tutankhamun, quickly restored the old gods and abandoned Akhenaten. Temples to Aten were destroyed, and the pharaoh's name was erased from many monuments. Akhenaten was now seen as a heretic and a traitor. But despite their efforts to erase him from history, Akhenaten's legacy has endured. He may have been hated in his time, but today, historians recognize his reign as a pivotal moment in the evolution of religious thought. Was he Egypt's greatest heretic, or the world's first monotheist? Akhenaten's story leaves us with a fascinating question. Was he a madman, blinded by his ambition, or a revolutionary who saw the future before anyone else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient Egypt, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more historical mysteries and spellbinding stories. Your support helps us uncover the past and bring you new stories every week. Sometimes those who seek to change the world are the ones that history tries to erase, but we're here to rediscover them.